All right, so get this. You sent us a whole stack on this Problemy Polski brand new IT thing.
PPBIT for short, right?
Yep.
Blog posts, Wikipedia, even some kind of internal encyclopedia. Color me intrigued. We're diving into the heart of the Polish tech scene.
And from the looks of it, this PPBIT community is, well, infamous.
It certainly promises to be interesting.
What did you get us into this time?
We often see online communities that cultivate an air of mystery, but this one
Seems particularly adept at it.
So first things first, what exactly is PPBIT?
This pp-wikipedia.txt file paints a fascinating picture. It's like the Grand Central Station of Polish IT, with over 81,000 members.
Wow.
They've got a website, too.
All about, like, tech industry happenings, but with a satirical slant.
Interesting.
What throws me is that academics seem to take them seriously.
Even some tech magazines aimed at beginners.
Really?
But then there's this reputation, this infamy.
That's what makes this so compelling.
It's an inherent tension between their perceived image and their actual impact.
It's a good reminder that online spaces, just like the real world,
Aren't always what they seem.
right,
You can have valuable information being shared alongside, shall we say.
less than savory behaviors.
And hold on, because it gets even wilder. They're apparently big on charity work.
That's not the first thing that springs to mind when you hear infamous online community.
It does make you wonder about the motivations, doesn't it?
Are they trying to offset a negative perception, or is there a genuine desire to give back?
Despite the tone of their online interactions.
Yeah.
It's a fascinating contradiction.
You mentioned an internal encyclopedia, and I have to say, I was blown away.
This PPBIT community has its own slang, memes, even fashion rules.
Wow!
Who needs a country when you've got an online community this intricate?
Exactly. It speaks to a deeply ingrained culture.
A desire to create a sense of belonging and shared identity within this digital space.
Okay, so let's meet some of these digital denizens, shall we?
First up, we've got Adminie, the enigmatic ruler of PPBIT.
Nobody knows who they are, which just adds to the mystique.
A true mystery.
They're not big on banning people.
But when they do,
It's the stuff of legends.
it's almost like a benevolent dictator,
Ruling with an iron fist hidden in a velvet glove.
all while wielding memes instead of scepters.
Then there's Callie, the resident storyteller.
He's got endless IT workplace tales, even if he does get his days mixed up sometimes. It's pure entertainment, like a tech-infused sitcom.
The classic unreliable narrator.
A staple in storytelling across cultures and time periods.
Right.
Except now, it seems, our narrator speaks in coding languages and server requests.
And of course, no online community would be complete without its resident provocateur.
True.
Enter Mokabi, always stirring the pot.
Battling Facebook and even adminies for the right to be heard.
Talk about a digital David taking on multiple Goliaths.
Every community needs that agent of chaos, don't they?
Someone to challenge the established order.
Even if their methods are, shall we say, a bit unorthodox.
It keeps things interesting, forces people to confront different perspectives.
Speaking of unorthodox, this What Tech Wistu thing,
Or thread of shame is something else.
let me guess.
Newbies making embarrassing posts is practically a blood sport in PBIT.
And if you delete your shame, well, that's like pouring gasoline on the fire.
Ouch.
It's brutal, but I have to admit, kind of hilarious.
It's that blend of humor and, let's be honest, cruelty.
That often characterizes these online spaces.
Yeah.
It reinforces the group's identity, their norms.
By making light of those who don't quite understand the rules of the game.
It's a fascinating, if somewhat unsettling, social dynamic.
And here I was thinking it was all fun and games.
But you're right, there's definitely a darker side to all this.
This ppbit-blogpost.txt we got, it argues there's more to PPBIT's humor than meets the eye.
Oh.
Something about it being a reflection of who they are, demographically speaking.
That's interesting.
What do they say?
The author suggests that because PPBIT is predominantly male,
Okay.
much like certain professions, construction, shipyard work, it fosters a particular brand of humor. Blunt, sometimes abrasive, relying heavily on dark humor and sarcasm. So, like a digital sausage fest. Well, digital sausage fest might be a bit extreme, but I get your point.
Is the article saying it's just how guys in tech blow off steam?
So no harm, no foul.
Not quite.
It's more nuanced than that.
Okay.
It's not about excusing potentially offensive behavior.
But rather understanding its origins.
Okay.
Think of it this way. If everyone around you communicates in a certain way...
You're more likely to adopt similar patterns.
Right.
Even if they wouldn't be your first choice otherwise.
So is it fair to call the whole PPBIT community toxic then?
Or is that painting with too broad a brush?
It's rarely so black and white.
The article seems to argue that understanding PPBIT requires looking beyond just the surface level of their jokes.
And considering the social dynamics at play,
We have to remember, behind every username, every meme.
there's a real person with their own unique experiences and perspectives.
Okay, so maybe judging a whole community based on their online banter is a bit harsh.
But what about this? The ppbit-wikipedia.txt file mentioned that PPBIT gets quoted in the media a lot.
But sometimes the source is kept quiet.
Really?
Why all the secrecy? It's not like they're the Fight Club of Polish IT, is it?
It's an interesting observation, isn't it?
I think it speaks to the double-edged sword of online anonymity.
On one hand, it allows for more unfiltered expression.
Sure.
People feel emboldened to speak their minds, share opinions they might otherwise keep to themselves.
For fear of judgment or professional repercussions.
But on the other hand,
That same freedom can lead to a disconnect between online personas and real-world actions.
if no one knows who you are, it's easier to say things you wouldn't necessarily say to someone's face.
Right.
It's a phenomenon psychologists call the online disinhibition effect.
So it's like, are you really your true self online if there's no risk of consequence?
Makes you think, doesn't it?
Exactly.
It raises the question of how much weight we should give to opinions expressed anonymously.
Are the most extreme voices on PPBIT truly representative of the entire community, or are they just the loudest?
It's a difficult question to answer.
And that's not even factoring in the whole lost in translation aspect,
Humor, especially online, can be incredibly difficult to navigate.
even within the same language.
Sure.
Add in cultural nuances and the ever-shifting landscape of internet slang.
And it's a recipe for misunderstandings.
You've hit upon a crucial point.
What might be considered edgy or satirical within a specific online community can easily be misconstrued by outsiders.
Context is key.
So where does that leave us?
Is PPBIT a haven for brilliant but jaded techies? A breeding ground for online toxicity? Or something in between?
Perhaps it's a bit of all three, depending on who you ask and what aspects you choose to focus on.
It's almost like trying to define a city based on a handful of postcards, isn't it?
You get glimpses of certain landmarks, certain neighborhoods, but the overall picture remains elusive.
What we can say with certainty is that PPBIT, like any online community, is a complex ecosystem.
Shaped by individual personalities, shared experiences, and the dynamics of online communication.
It's messy, contradictory, and constantly evolving.
Speaking of evolving, this ppbit-blogpost.txt article touches on something else I found interesting. The idea that PPBIT's culture isn't static.
It's been around for a while now, and according to this article, it's gone through some changes.
That's a crucial aspect to consider.
The evolution of online communities.
Right.
Just like in the physical world, online spaces are subject to trends, external influences, even generational shifts.
What might have been considered the norm in PPBIT's early days may no longer hold true today.
And as more and more people join, the dynamics are bound to shift even further.
It's like that old saying, one person's hilarious inside joke is another person's reason to leave the group chat.
Precisely.
As a community grows, it becomes increasingly difficult to maintain a homogeneous culture.
New voices emerge, different perspectives clash, and the community either adapts or risks fracturing.
It's a delicate balancing act.
So we've got this online community, thousands strong, with its own language, its own internal mythology, and a reputation that precedes it, for better or for worse.
And let's not forget, they're out there doing charity work.
Right.
Which adds another layer of complexity to their image.
It's like they're trying to be the edgy, misunderstood heroes of their own narrative.
Well, every good story needs its conflict, right? But in all seriousness, it does highlight the dangers of making assumptions about online communities based purely on hearsay or, surface-level observations.
We can't just slap a label on them and call it a day.
Right.
It's about understanding the nuances, the motivations.
The evolution of these spaces over time.
And acknowledging that there's a difference between, genuine toxicity.
And a communication style that simply doesn't translate well outside of its intended audience.
It's like walking into a conversation halfway through.
Right.
And trying to decipher the punchline without knowing the joke.
Precisely. Context is everything.
Yeah.
What might seem offensive to one person could be perceived as harmless banter.
Within a group that shares a certain history, a certain understanding.
So after diving deep into the world of PPBIT, it seems we're left with a bit of a puzzle.
A puzzle with missing pieces, cryptic clues, and no clear solution in sight.
But isn't that what makes these deep dives so fascinating?
Right.
Sometimes the most valuable insights come not from finding concrete answers.
But from embracing the ambiguity, the complexity of human interaction.
Yeah, it's a good reminder that even in the digital age, where everyone seems to be shouting their opinions from the rooftops,
There's still a lot we don't know about the online communities we inhabit.
and perhaps that's for the best.
After all, where's the fun in having everything figured out?
True.
It's the mysteries, the contradictions that keep us engaged.
That challenge us to look beyond the surface and grapple with the messy, often contradictory nature of online life.
Well said.
So, to our listener who sent us down this rabbit hole of Polish IT humor and online intrigue, thank you.
You've given us a lot to think about.
Indeed, and if your curiosity about online communities hasn't been satiated,
I encourage you to keep exploring, keep questioning.
who knows what other fascinating subcultures and digital mysteries await?